So we just got hit with a bombshell report out of Pittsburgh. The Steelers have officially pulled off one of the wildest trades of the offseason because overall, there really has not been too many crazy things thus far, sending all-pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick back to where it all started in Miami, and in return, they're getting not just one, but two very big pieces. They will be getting star cornerback Jalen Ramsey, who is obviously on the very back end of his career, and then tight end Jonnu Smith as well. I'm not going to be one of those people that overreacts and says this is a league-shattering move or anything like that, because it's not, let's admit it, but it certainly is an interesting one that most definitely will impact both sides of the equation. This front office, led by Omar Khan, just made a statement that they're not interested in trying to tread water in the AFC over and over again. They're swinging for the fences with Aaron Rodgers under center and clearly trying to reshape this roster to give Arthur Smith everything he needs to control the pace on offense and add more versatility on defense. This trade is bold, it's creative, and depending on how things play out, it might just redefine what this Steelers team looks like going into 2025. But obviously a lot has to happen, and there are a lot of things that have to come together and click, and that is a big if. But before I break down and talk about everything in this video from this trade, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so before I get into all my opinions and my breakdown of this trade, here's the full deal. The Steelers are trading Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins in exchange for 3-time All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey, tight end Jonnu Smith, and a late-round pick swap in next year's draft. Straight up. And that's a lot of star power despite age and where they are at football-wise, moving between two franchises. Now, the first reaction some fans are going to have and have had is probably confusion. Why trade away a cornerstone safety like Minkah? But when you take a closer look at things, it starts to all make sense. Minkah was set to carry a $22.3 million cap hit this season and a $24.4 million cap hit in 2026, and that's not pocket change. That's a major dent in the salary cap situation, and with the Steelers needing flexibility and trying to reload around Rodgers in a short window, moving that contract opened up serious space. According to reports, about $15.5 million in base salary this year and about $17.6 million next year now goes to the Dolphins. So this trade isn't just about talent, it's about managing the checkbooks, especially when you're investing in other positions. Now, let's talk about what Pittsburgh is getting, starting with Jalen Ramsey. This dude is still one of the most versatile defensive backs in the league, even with some injuries in recent seasons. When he's healthy, he changes everything for a defense, but obviously he is older and is in the back end of his career, so he has regressed slightly, and it's harder to stay healthy for an entire season when you age, and things can really flip on a dime. You can go from hanging with the crowd to being awful in just 1 year of time. When you get older, your body can turn on you in a heartbeat. But anyways, now the question immediately becomes, where is he going to play in Teryl Austin's system? See, without Minkah on the back end, there's a natural temptation to shift Ramsey to safety, something that's been floated around for a few years now. He's got the IQ, the instincts, the range. It's not a stretch, but Pittsburgh still has Deshaun Elliott and now Juan Thornhill, and as a Browns fan, I can tell you all about him. Because there are some pros and a lot of cons, but nonetheless, these are two capable safeties who could man those spots. So, what makes more sense? Well, what I think you'll see is Ramsey sticking at corner, primarily in the slot, when the Steelers are in nickel formation, which is most of the time in today's NFL, and that's a sweet spot for Ramsey. That's where he thrived in both LA and at times in Miami. He's physical, he can tackle, he can blitz, and he can cover tight ends and slot receivers, and pairing him with Joey Porter Jr. on the outside gives the Steelers one of the most flexible cornerback duos in the league, which, that's a huge win. But let's not overlook the other side of this deal, Jonnu Smith. This was a very intentional move by the Steelers. Arthur Smith is running the show offensively now, and if you followed his career, you already know what Jonnu Smith brings to the table. They've worked together before in Tennessee and Atlanta, and this is a guy Smith absolutely loves because of his unique skill set. Jonnu isn't your traditional tight end. He's not just a blocker, and he's not just a possession guy. He's explosive after the catch. You can use him in motion, on screens, in jet looks, and even on reverses if you try to get creative. He's basically a big-bodied offensive weapon. He's kind of like a utility tight end. He can do it all. And when you pair him with Pat Freiermuth, who's more your classic safety blanket tight end, you've suddenly got a ton of options in 12 personnel. And let's be real, That's the direction the Steelers are heading. With both tight ends now being paid big money, they're clearly leaning into a more physical 2 tight end base offense. You've got DK Metcalf as your top wideout, Roman Wilson is emerging, Calvin Austin is still developing, but they're not going to live in 3 wide sets the same way other teams do. This team wants to run the ball, they want to grind out games, and they want to control the clock, especially with Rodgers under center, because truth is, nobody knows what to expect from him. Obviously, his time with the Jets did not go very well in terms of team success, and he was injured for an entire year and became a meme, and he is just an interesting dude to say the least. From hiding in bunkers underneath the ground trying to make decisions, I don't know, it's some weird stuff. But then when you go and look at the stats on paper from 2024, he actually put up on par numbers for a solid quarterback in the league despite his age. So it's going to be interesting to see how fast he can make things click with the personnel that the Steelers have, because there is not time to waste, there's no time to dilly-dally. This sort of seems and feels like one final push the Steelers are making before finally admitting that it is time to fully rebuild from the ground up. Now, if you're Arthur Smith, this is definitely your kind of setup. You've got 2 versatile tight ends, you've got a deep backfield, and now you've got Aaron Rodgers, one of the smartest and most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history, running this system. The idea is to give defenses multiple looks out of similar formations. You stay in 12 personnel, motion into different setups, and force the defense to declare their hand. That's classic Arthur Smith chess, not checkers. But let's not pretend that this is a perfect move without any risk. Trading away Minkah is significant. He's a leader, he's still productive. Even if teams were avoiding him last year, that says more about his respect around the league than his decline. But the Steelers clearly believe they can fill that void, whether it's with Elliott, Thornhill, or even potentially making a run at Justin Simmons, who is still a free agent. That piece of the puzzle is still being worked out. Defensively, the Steelers now have a lot of versatility. Teryl Austin has options. If they want to play big nickel, Ramsey can slide into a more hybrid role. If they want to keep him at true corner and lean on Thornhill deep, they can do that. It's all about flexibility now, and the added depth this brings to their defensive backfield could end up being what helps them match up better with some of the elite passing attacks in the AFC. So the bottom line is, this is the kind of aggressive roster move that tells you the Steelers believe that they can win now. They didn't make this trade to build for the future. They made it to take advantage of Rodgers while he's still got some juice left in his career, and to give Arthur Smith everything he needs to run his preferred style on offense. Now, of course, there's still a lot more to sort out. Late round pick swaps could come into play. Contract adjustments could still be finalized, but as it stands, this is a win now move with a calculated risk. You're betting on Jalen Ramsey staying healthy and playing at a high level despite his age. You're betting on Jonnu Smith adding a new wrinkle to the offense, and you're betting that the secondary can adjust without Minkah. But yeah, overall, I don't think this was too big of a trade. It's not league shattering. I think the Steelers made the right move. I think this was a move that tells the current players the front office believes in them. But let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more Steelers content like this, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. We've got a wild season to cover coming up, and I'll be right here breaking it down every step of the way with you guys. Thank you all so much once again for your continued support. Let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.